Greetings, this is Chris from Tantalizing Tech, and today we're going to talk about the Dell XPS 9730 laptop. In particular, we're going to do some benchmark testing with 3DMark Night Raid. As you can see here on the screen, we have the description of the test, we have the graphics test, and also the physics test. And on the right hand side, you see under display, the rendering device is not connected directly to the selected display. The frame rate may be limited by PCI Express bandwidth and other factors. And I'll look into that. I am using an external capture card to create this recording. So I'll look into that, and if necessary, I'll update the video. But right now, we'll proceed with the Night Raid DirectX 12 test for the Dell XPS 9730. In this particular thing, you can see that the computer is collecting system information. So it's starting to run the benchmark score. And this might take a little bit, but it's not terribly long. So we'll give it some time. Still collecting. We'll give it a little bit more time. As I mentioned, when the actual video and sounds for the test start, I'll go on mute so that you can hear the sounds and the graphics. It's loading up the test right now for the Night Raid 3DMark test. Almost there. Okay, it's looked like it's completed that test for the 3DMark Night Raid score, and it's loading another test. This particular test, I think, is the graphics test 1. It's finished that test, and I think it's about to start the graphics test too. So I'll let that load up, and then I'll go on mute. All right, let's finish that test, and right now we're loading the GPU test. I'm sorry, I think this is the CPU test. Sorry. All right, it's done with that test for the 3DMark night raid test. Let's load in the results. And you can see for this particular laptop, the night raid score for the Dell XPS 9730 is 31,740. There's a validation warning that says the graphics driver is not approved or something. So as I mentioned, I'll look into that, and if I need to, I'll update the video. But this is for the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 laptop GPU with the Intel Iris Xe graphics card also. And in terms of the score, the 31,740 score. You can see the CPU score is 14,136. And they also give a graphics score in the middle there for 40,681. And you can see the different monitoring graphs, and we'll slide down on the page and show you the detailed scores. In terms of the GPU, of course, it's an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 laptop. The CPU, as you can see there, is a 13th generation Intel Core i9 13900H. We also have a second GPU that comes with the laptop. It's an Intel Iris Xe graphics. And we also have the time and system information that you can see there on the right hand side. In terms of detailed scores, we have a graphics score of 40681, and also for graphics test 1, we reached 192.36 frames per second. For graphics test 2, we received 198.28 frames per second. For the CPU score, we received 14,136, and for the CPU test, we received 40.7 milliseconds. In terms of details, frames per second, we have a frame rate for graphics test 1 of about 259.39, and then it drops down a little bit to about 161, goes up to about 260, drops down to 156, then over to about 157, goes up to about 244. And for graphics test 2, it starts off at about 214, goes up a little to about 251, drops down to 160, goes over, then goes up to about 250, and then goes over, stabilizes a little bit, drops down a little bit to 183, peaks back up to 253, and then drops back down to like 155. In terms of the temperature, if once again we're in Celsius temperature, and that's Celsius again. For the various tests here, we have the GPU temperature, and the GPU temperature is about currently 58, 59, kind of stabilizing around that particular area. 58, 59, 60, pretty much stabilizing around the 59 to 60 degrees Celsius. We also have the graphics test 1, and you can see the various temperatures there. 58, 59, 60, so it's after a little peak it stabilizes. The graphics test 2, 55, it might go up to 85, and then stabilize around 57, 58. Now for the CPU test, it's about 55, goes up a little bit, comes back down, and then goes up to like 89, and then again, and then a 95, and then comes down to like 54. In terms of the percentage, and this is the GPU load on the system, we have about 14%, and then it goes up to like 49 and then drops back down, but then it goes up to like 95, 98, and it seems to be pretty steady at 98, 93, and this is the GPU load, 96, 92, 97, 98. So pretty much in the 90s until it tapers off at the end to 16, drops down to 16, I believe. And the other test is about 19% where it starts, and then it goes all the way up to about 88, 89, 90. Then it stabilizes at about 98% for the GPU load test. And then there's another test too, which after a little bit it drops down 8% and then goes all the way up to 97%. And then 89, 92, and then up to 98%. And for the CPU test, it starts off at about 32, goes up to 40, and then drops down to about 1.1, and then somewhere around the 30s, 28, 26, 24, in that particular range. In terms of clock frequency, we have about 1494, and then we're tracing the different peaks and valleys of the curve. So we have 2100, we have about 17, and it's going up and down these various areas. And as you can see, it's going up and down. $4,800, $4,100, $4,400, $34, $4,100, $3,800, and that's just for the graphics test 1. Then we move on to the graphics test 2. 4,400, and we hit a peak there. 32, 33, 34, 35, 35, 37, 3,500, and then 3,600. We then do the CPU test, and it goes up to 4,400, and then it has another peak of 5,100, drops down to 3,800, and then now we're at 3,800. And at the bottom you can see the different color coding for the various tests that we have out there. In orange is the frame rate, frames per second, and green, CPU temperature in Celsius. GPU temperature is in blue, degrees Celsius. In red, we have the GPU load, which is percentage. The CPU clock frequency is in purple, megahertz. The GPU is memory clock frequency is in yellow, which is in megahertz, and the GPU clock frequency is in megahertz. In this particular thing, we're just tracing another frequency for the clock, which is the pink line. GPU clock frequency, actually. And we'll scroll back up to the top. You can see the detailed scores there. The graphics score 4681. All the way to the top, the night rate score is 31740. And now we're going to go online and compare to the rest of the scores. So you can see the score for this Dell 179730 is 31740 with the NVIDIA RTX 4080 and the Intel Core i9 13900H. The graphics score is 40681 and the CPU score is 14136. It says graphics driver is not approved at the top. I'll research that and if necessary update the video. But you can see this laptop comes in on this particular graph in number 4, 31,740 in terms of the score. In terms of what's above it, high-end gaming PCs, which is 62,967. Premium gaming PCs from 2020 at 55,922. The gaming PC 2020, 49,855. And you can see the things that are below. A gaming laptop 2020 and an office laptop 2020. In terms of details, you can see that this is an NVIDIA RTX 4080. The laptop is manufactured by Dell Computer Corporation. We have about 12 gigabytes of memory for the NVIDIA RTX 4080, memory for the graphics card, GPU. And you can see the average temperature running at about 59 degrees Celsius. And you can see the various clock frequencies, the average clock frequencies, and the memory clock frequencies. Driver version also is listed there. In terms of the processor, we're running an Intel Core i9 13900H processor, a frequency of about 5,187 megahertz or 2,600 megahertz. In terms of other things, we have an average temperature which is not applicable in this particular table. It has 14 cores. In terms of general information, we're running 64 bits of Windows 11, and you can see the version there. The laptop is manufactured by Dell, and you can see the motherboard type, if you will. The memory, we're running 64 gigabytes of memory, which is DDR5, the newest DDR5, which is also 2 sticks of 32 gigabytes. The hard drive is a 1 terabyte NVMe PC 801 NVMe SK Hynix 1 terabyte. And in a future video, I hope to show you how to upgrade this laptop to an 8 terabyte drive as your primary drive or as a secondary drive. I haven't decided yet. So in terms of this, I'd like to thank you for watching Tantalizing Tech. I have been Chris. Thank you.